والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا العبد المؤيد والوعد المسدد الناشر لكلمة قل هو الله أحد أبي القاسم محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
First, I would like to congratulate everyone on the birth of Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wassalam. And one thing that's very interesting to note about the life of this Imam is that he is a very oppressed Imam even with our own circles. We don't know much about him. We don't know much about his life. We know that he is an Imam and he does not get the attention that he deserves at all. And this could be for two reasons. Number one is that within the Shi'i circle, the story is not relatable. Imam Ali's stories are all of war and fighting, and Imam Hussein's story, same thing. And then if you look between Imam Ali and Imam Hussain, the rest of the Imams, they take the place of Imam Hassan. We don't know anything about them. Secondly, is the fact that he had the treaty with Muawiyah. Some people have something in their hearts about it. And third thing, and this is the most unfortunate thing, is that this member became very reactive. We don't know our religion because we came and we decided to study it more than we were reacting to what was happening to us. People said something bad about Imam Ali, we reacted to it. So this is why we have so many things about Imam Ali that we can actually defend Imam Ali with. A lot of people called Imam Hussain a Khariji. We stood on the defensive, so we have a lot of information. We noticed on the other school, they didn't say much about Imam al-Hassan. He was more loved, he was more liked by the other school. So we didn't find a need to defend ourselves. So we just left the whole subject alone. Now what happens is that one of the greatest personalities of all time gets lost in history. And it's very, very unfortunate. So I wanted to take a look from our perspective. Imam al-Hassan's hadiths on Rasulullah first. Because the minimum status that we can give this person is that he was a companion. He saw the Prophet. He was considered to be the son of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet used to say, he is my son. In fact, Imam al-Hassan ﷺ used to always say that I am the son of Rasulullah. Even in al-Ihtijaj, one time a person was sitting on the minbar and he said that the Quran says that Rasulullah is more worthy of the believers than themselves. And since I am the Khalifa of Rasulullah, I am also more worthy than yourselves. And at that time, Imam Hassan was walking by. I'm telling you, at this time he was like 9 years old. 8, 9 years old. Little kid. This struck him. He said, get down from the pulpit of my father. You don't belong here. The guy got insulted, so in the member over here, people are saying, he got insulted. He said, the last time I checked, your father is Ali ibn Abi Talib. He said, Wallahi, my father is Rasulullah. Over here, this person got very angry. So he came, he took him, and he said, let's go to your house. Imagine this, like you're holding a little kid, you're getting him in trouble. Go inside, house of Ali ibn Abi Talib, knocks the door. Who comes out? Imam Hussain. He said, can you go get this person's father? He said, his father's Rasulullah. I think you brought him from where he was coming from. So at that time there was a little bit of an argument. Ali ibn Abi Talib comes in. He said, what's going on? He said, you need to teach your son some behavior. Ali ibn Abi Talib said, I don't think the son of Rasulullah needs to be taught the behavior. See? We know the popular hadiths over here. This is where I want to get to. The popular hadiths that we have. Usually they are between Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain together. The majority of the hadiths are Imam Hussain. For example, Al-Hassan wa Al-Hussain Sayyida Shabab Ahl Al-Jannah. Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain are the masters of the youth of paradise. A couple of days ago, I wanted to see the hadiths that Imam Hassan narrated from Rasulullah. So I was looking through. I didn't find much, unfortunately. But the one that I found is probably the funniest hadith I've ever heard. This is in Musnad Ahmad ibn Hanbal from Hassan ibn Ali. He says that one time he was sitting in a gathering and Abu Bakr and Umar come in. And so Rasulullah said, these two that just came in are the masters of the old people in heaven. So the title, usually we always see this. We always see that anytime we have a manqaba, anytime we have a merit for the Ahlul Bayt, they try to put it on somebody else. But over here they did it in a very, very shrewd way. Because the manqaba was for Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain. They are the masters of the youth of paradise. Now as soon as you bring this hadith, and this hadith is available in all the books. It is almost mutawatir. It's a very, very authentic hadith. He comes right back at you and he says, but even Imam Hassan disagrees with this. He's the one that narrates Mr. So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so. I was like, subhanAllah. You know? So Imam Hassan's thing is very, very cloudy. And majority of it was because Imam Hassan was working in the background also. He had a secret life aside from this. And we have to understand this about the Imams. For example, in Surah Al-Kahf, the Khidr story was not there just for us to read it. The Khidr story, that Prophet Musa goes to a person and he says, can you teach me of what you have learned? And then he does all of these actions. And all of these actions are done in secret. All of them are done beyond, not from the... And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Khidr to do these things. The Imams also have this type of position. They have a position that's very, very secret. There was a very interesting theory that we have about the birth of Imam al-Hassan. It's almost a consensus. 15th of Ramadan is when he was born. About the death of Imam al-Hassan, we don't have a consensus. Some people said he died 51 AH. Some people said he died 58, 59 AH. Explaining the story, remember when he passed away and they wanted to bury him by Rasulullah ﷺ, and then they threw arrows on the coffin. Do you know why they threw arrows on the coffin? There's a very interesting theory that says because there was nobody there. This was a decoy. And the people wanted to expose somebody because they knew Imam Hassan was still alive. So they said, throw arrows at the coffin because there's nothing in there. Imam al-Hassan is one of the main organizers and the main architects for the event of Karbala. That's also very important to know. And Imam al-Hassan sulh with Muawiyah, and the reason why Muawiyah wanted to get him killed and make sure that he wanted him to die was because not only did it have that he cannot appoint anybody after him, but in the sulh, all the money that comes into Iraq, all the money that comes into Hijaz, all the money that comes into Yemen belongs to Imam al-Hassan. That almost bankrupted the power of Muawiyah. There was not enough money coming in. And all of these funds were going to Imam Hassan. What was Imam Hassan doing? He was spreading the message of his father. So now Muawiyah, day after day, is growing in more enemies. He said, this person I have to get rid of. So the number one thing is ruin his reputation. So I'm pretty sure you've heard that. We have a lot of narrations, and this is from the both sides. He had maybe 300 wives, 350 wives. All of this stuff. And okay, let's argue 100%. Okay, he had 350 wives, no problem. Okay, how many kids did he have? He had 15 kids altogether. And what happened to the 300 wives? Do all of them couldn't bear kids? What was he doing with them? I said that's number one. Number two, even the story of his death. No, if you think about it, how was Imam Hassan killed? His wife killed. They had to bring the wife in. Why? And was Imam Hassan very unattainable to his own household? So everything that comes in when it comes to the Imam, we always have to take it in a very skeptical eye. Because the biggest hadith that they have is every time they mention Imam Hassan, I watched maybe 70, 80 Wahhabi videos in the past 48 hours about what they say about Imam Hassan. And they have this one hadith. The Prophet ﷺ, when he looked at Imam Hassan, he said, Inna ibni hada sayyid. This son of mine is a sayyid. He is a master. Why is he a master? He will be guided by Allah to make a treaty between two groups of mu'mineen. Which this is no problem, say it all you want. But the problem is when it comes to the Shia member, the guy is saying the same thing. He said, the Prophet said this. He's giving Shari'ah to automatically. Number one, we're proving that the Prophet is telling the future. Number two, we're proving that Imam Hassan. And then the way they talk, I look at the seerahs of Imam Hassan. They say he was loved and he was nothing like his brother Hussain. As if these two were always against each other. Right? This is on the Sunni side. On the Shia side also, there are insults to Imam Hassan from when we don't know. He wasn't very politically savvy. If you look at the reason why the treaty happened for one reason. The treaty happened for one reason, is that the army of Imam Hassan betrayed him. And betrayed him by his cousin, Abdullah bin Abbas. Abdullah bin Abbas, this guy is the biggest problem in Islamic history, I'm telling you. Because the Shias love him, the Sunnis love him. Why? Because he swings. What do you want? He has it for you, ready. He's like Abu Hurairah 2.2, you know? So Muawiyah went to Abdullah bin Abbas. Abdullah bin Abbas says, you pay me, I'll give you his whole army. Imam Hassan knew this whole plot. So he had to make Muawiyah believe that he was a lot stronger and that he has an army other than this one. Where Muawiyah was begging for a treaty. It got to that point. Because Imam Hassan will not be capable with all the betrayal that was going on. You have to remember, from the death of Uthman, this is the death of Uthman, after blood, even Bani Umayyah, they didn't want the Khilafah. They said there is no good in Khilafah right after blood. If Uthman just died, this Khilafah is going to topple down in 2 seconds. So they all rushed it to Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ali ibn Abi Talib knew that this was a problem. This is why the first thing he says, now you want to come to me? After what? You want me to inherit this whole mess? It's a mess that cannot be controlled. It's literally just, we have the best way to look at it is what happened in Mosul in Iraq right after ISIS. ISIS comes in, butchers everybody, kills all the leaders, and they say, okay, now I want you to lead. You lead what? So Ali ibn Abi Talib was put in the position. He says, okay, the Khalifa just got assassinated in Medina. I'm not safe here because these people are going to assassinate me. Okay, what do I need to do? Thinking. He said, listen, I'm going to go to Kufa. What is Kufa? Kufa was just a military base. Umar ibn Khattab, when he opened up Iraq and Persia, they decided that they needed a place for the military to sit down and rest. And so they originated the city of Kufa, where you buy swords for hire. I need protection, I need an army. So Ali ibn Abi Talib says, okay, we have no choice, I need an army to protect. So go to Kufa, and let's buy these swords. These people, not Shia, not any, the thing is, you pay me, I fight for you. Done. Who were the leaders in Imam Ali's army? Shimr ibn al-Jawshan, Shibbat ibn Rabi', Abdurrahman ibn Muljam. And those were the generals. Ali ibn Abi Talib knew, he used to look at them, he used to look at Abdurrahman ibn Muljam and he says, I know that one day you're going to kill me. And Abdurrahman says, oh, that's impossible. It's like, well, I know exactly where you come from. So when Ali ibn Abi Talib passed away, Imam Hassan inherited this mess, that same mess that was there. No one that could be trusted. Those that are to be trusted, they're going to be killed. And the people that are betraying are the people that are the closest to you, your cousins. So it's like, okay, what is the best situation I can do? Remember, it's not only for himself and not only for his chair. The number one thing about the Imam is, by the way, the Ummah. What is the best thing I can do for the Ummah? What is the best thing I can do for the Shia? And from that it originated. All the credit that we give to Karbala belongs to Imam al-Hassan. You know, Imam al-Hassan had 14 boys. 13 of them were killed in Karbala. This Imam al-Hassan's death was when he went and he literally told Imam Hussain, he said, there is no day like your day. He prepared them for this. Literally prepared it. And again, we don't have that same connection. There's a group in Medina. You have to understand, Medina, even till this day, Medina is more than 40-50% Shia, just so you know. The Shias of Medina are always there. And the Shias out there are very, very wealthy. One time, one of the scholars came from Iraq, he went to the Shias, he said, I see, like, aside from all, he said, I see Shias from all over the world, they come to me. He said, I see nobody richer than you guys. You guys are really, really wealthy. He said, what's your secret? He said, we have one secret that no other Shia have. And he said, what? He said, we have a special relationship with Imam al-Hassan. I want to say he's the Kareem Ahlul Bayt, the generous person of Ahlul Bayt. Imam al-Hassan 3 times, he gave away all of his money. Down to homelessness. He said, Fi sabilillah, everyone take. 3 times. Imam al-Hassan, 26 years, went to Hajj walking. While the camels are there, everything's available for him, and he refuses but to walk. So there is a school to be learned. And the way I look at it is from Imam Ali's words. So one time in the Battle of Siffin, Ali ibn Abi Talib told Muhammad ibn Hanafiya to get some water from the wells. And the wells were being protected. So Muhammad Hanafiya goes, he tries, he was prevented, he comes back. He comes back, he told his son, he said, oh Hassan, go. He goes, he manages to break through the army, bring the water, come in. Muhammad Hanafiya felt a little like you made me look bad right now. So he said, oh Muhammad, don't be jealous. He said, his mother is Fatima, and your mother is someone else. Ali ibn Abi Talib, a couple of times, one time he used to see Imam al-Hassan. And one time he says, I see that you are exactly like me. He just looks at him. He says, you are a part of me. Ali ibn Abi Talib, so many times he used to take Imam al-Hassan when people would ask him questions. There's a couple of hadith I went through where Umar ibn Khattab would go and says, oh Abu al-Hassan, I have a question for you. And he just looks at him and he said, ask my son. He said, well, I'm asking you. He said, we have the same knowledge. It just comes in from the same place, don't worry. And every 5 seconds, you have to come and waste my time, go ahead. And the most interesting thing is that in every Jum'ah prayer, especially the Sunni mosques, there's a dua that they say, Allahumma hadina fi man hadayt, wa afina fi man afayt, wa awlina fi man awlayt. This hadith is a dua that Imam al-Hassan alayhi salatu wasalam narrates. And he says, Rasulullah used to teach me this dua, and I recite this dua in my witr prayers. And then this is a very interesting theory. It says how the Ahlul Bayt managed to infiltrate the member of Islam, whether they like it or not. Right now, after Taraweeh prayers, you see that there's always a dua. It's direct clip from Abu Hamza Tamam. Direct. Where are you going to get the dua from? So the Ahlul Bayt made sure that their presence is known. Whether you like it, you don't like it, you know where it's coming from, you don't know where it's coming from, the nur is there. Always, you cannot. Right? This is why the Quran says, يُرِيدُ يُرِيدُونَ أَن يُطْفِئُونَ نُورَ اللَّهِ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ. They want to extinguish the light of Allah with their mouths. وَيَأْبَى اللَّهُ. And Allah refuses except that He keeps His nur lit. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين صلوات.